Hey, everybody. We are doing an episode about getting back into the swing of things. So, this is one of our fan favorites. I've done this 3 years in a row. And basically, what we're chatting about is how do we transition from summer to fall, right? How do we transition into maybe the kids being home to the kids staying home, right? It depends on what's happening in your state right now. Okay. So, this is usually a popular episode. And the reason I do this is because I naturally do this on my own. So I am very type A, and maybe you are too. And because I'm so type A, I like to prep, I like to prepare, I like to figure out like I plan everything, right? So maybe you are very, very similar, and that's probably why this has been so popular. So, if I want you, or I should say, this is a little later than I typically do. I usually promote this, I would say, maybe the beginning of August, but it has just been such a crazy year that I've even been kind of late to the game. Or some things I actually felt like I had been prepping this whole time, knowing COVID has just been such a huge kind of blindside, right? So, we're going to discuss a few things in this episode. I'm going to be talking about your schedule and your budget. I'm going to be talking about them in two ways: planning for your business and then planning for your personal situation. Okay. So, if you're ready, let me know who's on, let me know who's watching, and we will dive right in. Okay. So, for me, I'm going to talk first about looking at my business schedule. Okay. So this is where I am ready. Like I'm getting back into September and it's time to really ramp up and hit the goals that I have been planning on all year long. Right. Maybe we've been sidetracked a little bit, but that doesn't mean we can't finish strong. Okay. I want you to remind yourself of that. Now, the reason I talk about schedule first before I even go into finances is because time is more limited than anything else. We can always make more money. Okay. I hope you believe that, but we can't get more time, right? So, what I want you to understand here is as I'm looking at my schedule and I'm asking myself, like, what does September 2020 and on look like? Okay. So, I had to remind myself, like, what is my one thing? What am I focusing on? What did I say I was going to focus on in January? And am I still on track? Am I still looking at that specific product and putting my time and energy there? Okay. So that's a big one. For me specifically, I promised myself this year that my one thing was foot traffic formula. I can honestly say we've stuck to it. Yes, we've had moments where I'm like, oh, wait, get back, like over here, right? It has been such a blessing to stick to our one thing, to continue to scale it. And honestly, it will be our one thing even in 2021, right? Because when you put your time and energy into that specific product, the specific bestseller that I'm always telling you to find, right? You will reap those rewards. Okay. Next, I ask myself, what are my priorities going to be? Like, what needs to happen in order to hit those goals? Okay. So I started brain dumping like all of the ways that I could get there. And I don't know if you saw on Instagram this morning, but I shared, I am really working on my visibility plan. So I have a proven product. I have a product that sells really well. It is selling easier and easier as we go on, right? As we gain more credibility, as we get bigger testimonials from our clients. So knowing that I have a proven product, I now need to fill that funnel. Like that's where I am, right? Where are you? Are you still trying to find your bestseller? Create your proven product, okay? But I want you to see like, what am I working on? What are my priorities? And then how do you figure out what yours are? Okay. So again, my big priority right now is visibility. I need more eyes seeing my proven product, right? That is going to produce me more revenue, more sales. Okay. So I started to brain dump all of the things that I need to be doing, like getting on more podcasts. Today alone, I was on 2 podcasts and 1 local TV segment. Okay. 3 different ways. And that's other people's, right? Other people's platforms. And I guess right now, 4th, I'm on a Facebook Live getting visible on my own platform, right? So for me, those are my priorities. So if you ever think like, wow, she is always doing, fill in the blank, it's because I know what my priorities are and I'm leaning into them. What you aren't seeing me do, right, are the things that are not my priorities, okay? No one can jump in here for me and be me right now, right? So it's one of my highest priorities I need to continue to do because I know when I jump on live, right, it will lead to somebody getting warmed up, and converting into a customer. Okay. So that's kind of what is my next step is what are the things I need to get done on my plate. All right. Um, Another question is what do I need to remove from my plate? Right. And then most importantly, in what order am I working on them? So as I started to brain dump, and you can't see this, but like right over here, I have a whiteboard. And on the whiteboard, I am brain dumping all the things. And then I'm looking at in what order do these need to get done? Right. And then I looked at could be like any part of that, could any part of even like one of the goals, could parts of the tasks that we see there, could they be delegated to a team member, right? Maybe I can't delegate 100% of it, but maybe like 60% of one task could be started by somebody else and then passed on to me. All right. So that's another area that I'm focusing on, like prioritizing. Now, because we've had such huge growth with Foot Traffic Formula this year, we are in like hiring mode. I mean, we are constantly hiring all throughout this pandemic. We've been hiring and people are like, I thought people were laying people off. Yes, in some businesses, yes. Unfortunately, but not all businesses, right? We are continuing to thrive. And because of that, we're going to need to hire. So I'm focusing a lot of my time and energy on making sure systems are where they need to be, job positions are lined up, and I'm almost like having a wish list of who we're hiring and when we're hiring them. Okay, so for instance, one of the things that we're going to be hiring soon is like VP of development. It's a massive, massive role in our company, and I realized that this isn't a role we may hire in a week. It might be 6 months of looking for the perfect person, right? But I need to make sure that I've got the job description really down pat and I know that it's very clear and I am setting the right expectations. So I find the right quality of a person that's going to be applying. Okay. So besides that, I'm mapping out my priorities of who needs to get hired next. And the reason that I'm doing that is I typically am asking myself, what am I removing from my plate? What could somebody help me do? Right? What could somebody strip from my plate? Or sometimes the people we hire, they strip from our leaders' plates, right? So hiring a social media manager is stripping tasks from Michelle's plate, right? Hiring Kent, an assistant, pulls things from Kent's plate, right? So we're constantly asking ourselves, like, who is getting overwhelmed right now? And what can we do to put them in their zone of genius? And then where do we need to hire to make up for like what we're taking off of their plate? All right. So really reassessing our team schedule, their priorities, all of that good stuff is coming up for me as I'm looking at 2020. All right. Now, knowing your work hours. Now, I am fortunate enough right now, this might be temporary, right? I don't know. But my kids are going to school. Okay. So what we've been doing is Ken's been driving them to school and I'm picking them up. So I have between like 8:15 and about 3:30 where I am able to get my work done. Okay. Now Tegan is in kindergarten. We finally have like full day, both kids. And we're using that to our advantage for now, right? I know that that could absolutely change down the road, but I'm taking advantage of it now while they're in school. Okay. Now, what I'll say too is, as I'm looking at this, I start to say, okay, if I'm going to work and I'm not really working at 8:15, they leave at 8:15. I'm kind of still getting ready. I'm pretty much working like 9 to 3:30-ish. I want to make sure that when I'm looking at my hours, I'm then going, where are those team meetings happening? Where are the podcasts fitting in? And I'm setting up rhythms and routines for when I'm doing what. Okay. My goal is to pretty much keep open my Tuesdays and Fridays pretty clear. Okay. And then I'm trying to do back-to-back appointments Wednesdays and Thursdays, right? Jordan, my executive assistant, is really trying to get all of my interviews and things like that in Wednesdays and Thursday afternoons. So when I have this rhythm, when I have this routine, then I know, okay, today's going to be a content day. Today's going to be a podcast day. Today I need to look decent because I'm going to be on air quite a few times, right? And I can batch all of those at one time. Okay. Anything like that is going to speed up what you are doing. You are going to get more efficient when doing that. All right. Does that make sense, you guys? Let me know if you're getting this. Hit the like button if this sounds good. Okay, next is creating non-negotiables. Remember, we are still talking business. We did not get to personal yet. That is coming up. What are my business non-negotiables for 2020, like the rest of 2020, right? So knowing that, for me, it might be for sure I'm going live once a week, right? Minimum of one podcast per week. Another goal that I had set was at least 2 other people's podcasts per week. Now, that's a little bit more out of my control. I can't guarantee. Like I can guarantee I can go live once a week on my own platform, but I necessarily can't guarantee I'm going to get on somebody else's, right? So it's not technically like a non-negotiable, but we're really aiming to hit that of I need to get on other platforms. That's going to get me more visibility. Okay. So I want you as step 2 to write down what are your business non-negotiables. Okay. One thing we're going to be doing is in our Facebook group, we really wanted to make it more special. A lot of times I'll go in there and we'll take the content and we'll put it on other places. But one thing that we've been deciding to do is every Monday, there's content just for the Foot Traffic Community Facebook group. If you're not in there, you won't get access to that. And it's because we really want to make sure that we're making specific platforms feel more special so people want to be a part of that group and community, right? So what are your non-negotiables that you are going to put as we are doing this, okay? When you are struggling with priorities, all right, what I want you to realize here is if we look at your calendar, if we look at your bank account, we will see your priorities, right? So if you're not totally sure if you're in alignment with what you think you want, go back and look at last week. Look at last week's calendar. Look at the last 7 days of your expenses. See what is going on, and then do that little bit of a reality check to get back in alignment and focused, okay? All right, let's jump into budget. So this is the business budget. What am I thinking about? This is like our finance talk, okay? So I definitely am trying to run as lean as possible. You have heard me say this since March, okay? I've literally told you in March, I came on and I canceled anything that we absolutely did not need. Even if it was $10 a month, it didn't matter because I know little things can add up to really big amounts, right? So I want to make sure that we are running very lean. And I'm not saying we're getting cheap or frugal, right? Because we are still investing in things we are going to get a return on our investment from, right? I'm still making big purchases, but I'm using that purchase and I'm doing that based off of a very I should say like an educated guess of going with my gut that yes, if I do the work, I'm going to see a return. All right. So I don't want you hearing me say get lean and hear that with like become cheap and don't invest in anything for your business. Those people will save their way into closing their doors. I don't want that happening to you. Just be smarter with your expenses. Okay. So we've been assessing everything. I mean, I will look at every credit card bill. Like, what did we spend? And can I justify this, right? We're assessing software. Do we really need this? Do we really use this? What is it doing for us? And maybe you have an overlap sometimes in a few softwares. And the question is like, do you really need all 3? Do you really need both of them? Okay. Now, I have 3 software. I have Kajabi, I have ConvertKit, I have ClickFunnels. I can justify spending money on all 3 of those because I'm getting a return, right? They're doing things that are helping me make money. Do not, I repeat, do not be cheap with things that are actually generating revenue. It really comes down to, is this an expense or is it a revenue generator? So the masterminds I pay to be in, the coaching programs I pay to be in, those to me are not expenses. Those are revenue generators. It's teaching me strategy to make more money, right? Sometimes though, we buy things, we don't do the work and they become expenses. All right. That's on you. If you buy something, it's up to you to get the result and the responsibility you've got to own. Okay. All right. So right now we are in the process of refinancing our house. So I know I said this was business finances, but I guess I'm going a little personal here. But my point with that is, I should say I'm looking at it though more of like my net worth and my retirement and all of that, right? So taking advantage of what you can in a time like this. Yes, it's not the greatest time. I'm not excited about being in a pandemic in 2020, but there are some things that you should be considering that could be something that positively affects you long term. And definitely refinancing has been one of those options, right? So to get down to a lower rate, to get down to a lower year. So I wouldn't encourage you to go from like a 30-year, let's say you're 3 years into your 30-year loan. I wouldn't encourage you to refinance back at 30 years and you just tacked on 3 more years, right? My goal for you would be to go lower, shave some years off and shave some points off, right? Percentages off. So obviously, we could go so much deeper on that, but I want you to see like, what are we thinking about? Okay. Now I'm being really, really good about saving, right? Not just for my performing arts studio, because we don't know what's to come. Like, truly, who knows what this is going to look like? But I also know that during recessions and economic downturn, there's always good deals to come, right? And I want to be ready to invest in another rental property, right? Who knows? Maybe another business. I don't know, but I just know that being, like cash heavy in a time like this is so incredibly important for stability, but then for other potential opportunities that come your way. Okay. So I want to make sure you are thinking about that. Looking at hiring, I'm looking at like, how fast will we make the return on our investment? How much time will it free up for me, right? So maybe I can justify, okay, well, they're going to do this, and I'm not sure if that's going to bring in this many more people, and I can't do the math quite yet. But what I can say is, whoa, it's going to give Stacy back 6 hours a week, or Jordan back, or whoever, right? And I can justify that. So those are things I'm looking at when I'm saying, like, do I spend this money? Should I not? Should I, etc. Okay. Okay. So that was business. Let's talk a little bit personal. So I'm going to do the same thing. Personally, my schedule, my non-negotiables, and then personally, my budget. Okay. So, or my personal expenses, I should say. So my schedule, I have been waking up. I actually had been doing 6, and then I feel guilty about waking up at 6 for some reason. Like, I feel like I'm not waking up early enough. Ever since I read The Miracle Morning and it's like 5 a.m., I just feel like 6 is like cheating. I don't know. But anyway, I will tell you, I already woke up this morning at 5:30 because I like knew, I'm like, I don't even want to tell them I'm waking up at 6. However, for me, the reason I can't justify a 6 a.m. wake up right now is because my to-do list is pretty massive. And I've got a lot of things that I have to get done. So for me, that extra 30 minutes that I got this morning was put to good use. Okay. If you feel like I don't really have a million things to do and I'm feeling really good, then you don't have to be doing that. But when you are complaining that you have so much to do and you're watching 2 hours a night of Netflix, don't complain, right? And I kind of felt like I was doing that. In my head, I was complaining about all the things, and I have to do this and that. And I'm sitting here going, but I'm sleeping till 6, and I'm definitely watching a little bit of Netflix, okay? And I realized, man, if I could cut out an hour of Netflix and I could wake up an hour early, 2 hours a day back of my life, right, is going to add up. And I'm in a stage right now where I'm going to need to make that sacrifice, okay? I feel like we've had a breakthrough year in 2020, and I want to make sure that we keep the momentum we've been gaining, okay? Now, that's up to you. I don't want you to think like, oh, Stacy does that, I need to do it. No. I want you to see like how I'm telling myself what I should be doing or not. Okay. So, I'm saying no to as many things as possible personally and taking help when I can get it. So my mom texted me today and she's like, hey, I can pick up the kids from school and I'll take them for like an extra hour. I want to see them. You can work for an hour. Sometimes I would be like, that's okay. Right. And I was like, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I have work to do. So I will let you take them for an hour and they can hang out with grandma, and I'm going to get some stuff done. Right. So don't be so quick to say no to help. Right. But definitely be quick to say no to other things that are going to distract you. We are truly not making any personal plans right now. We are not planning trips. We're just not doing anything. I had a family member. She was over and she was like, oh, let's plan a weekend where we go up and we do something with Ken's family. And I was like, honestly, I can't. And she's like, well, no, you can pick whatever weekend. I'm like, no. Like, literally, I'm not putting anything on my calendar right now. And I know that might sound weird to people, or you might feel guilty saying no to somebody. But here is the thing. We are experiencing the craziest part of our business ever. As somebody who owns a brick and mortar business and who may have their kids be home tomorrow, and I wasn't planning on it because they are in person, I just have to make sure that my schedule is as light as possible. Okay. So that means that I don't even want my weekends busy, because if I turn into having to homeschool my kids, I want to make sure that I have possibility or potential on the weekends to get things done. So I don't want to commit to somebody and put that on the calendar and then feel guilty and resent that I've said yes. Okay. So what I had said to this person was, I'm up for things last minute if we are free, but I'm not pre-planning anything. I'm so sorry, but like, we just aren't in a position to be able to do that with what's going on. Right. Some people will understand and some people won't, but I don't really need them to understand. Right. I just need to feel good about the decisions I'm making. Okay. Now, and I know that's going to be hard for some of you, like, how are you going to say this, right? But that's just the decision I had to make. And sometimes it's tough conversations, right? Another thing I want you to think about is the kids' activities. Okay. If you have kids, um, that can be a lot, right? So for me specifically, the only thing I even signed up my kids for this year was dance. Tegan probably won't do it. Tegan has quit dance every year. I guarantee. She said to me, I want the shoes, but I just want to wear them and watch from the window. Like she doesn't want to go in the classroom. I'm like, you're not getting the shoes if you're not going in. So anyway, they probably aren't doing, Tegan's probably not doing anything, but Tanner wants to do dance. Okay. Now, what's cool about this for me is, first, it's free. So let's talk about personal budget there. I'm not paying for it because I own the dance studio. Second of all, I work there. And when she goes into class, I can go into an office and actually get some work done. So for me, I was like, that doesn't feel heavy. That feels easy, right? And I feel safer sending my kids someplace where I control what the cleaning looks like, how they're doing everything. I can't say that about a lot of other places right now that I feel comfortable sending my kids versus my building, my staff, I feel comfortable and I trust them, right? Now, something to consider. Date night. Let's talk about that. Oh man, you guys, Kent and I have gone on 2 date nights. Thankfully, COVID hit right after his birthday. So we went on a birthday dinner for him. And then it was like COVID the next day. So we got one out of our system right away, at least before. But since that March 15th-ish date, we've only gone out 2 times together by ourselves, which is not enough and not good. So one of the things that I did looking at that, I'm like, we can't sustain that. That is just not, it's just too hard, right? I don't want to only be with him with the kids, right? So we need some time with just the 2 of us to go out. So one of the things that we are doing, my mom had volunteered to kind of take them one day after school, and then we're going to end work early and go out for like an early dinner. So having that in reoccurring every single week, and really budgeting for that. Okay. To us, that makes sense. And it feels like a good investment, right? So I want you to be thinking about that. You might be thinking investment, we're investing in our relationship, right? So that's something to think about. Are you getting time away from your home, away from the kids, etc.? Okay. One thing that Kent and I started doing probably in the last 6 months or so is rotating bedtime. So it's my night tonight. Bummer. So I will tell you, my girls are 5 and 7, and sometimes they were the best sleepers as babies. And now as a 5 and 7-year-old, not so much. Tegan, much better than Tanner, but Tanner is making up every excuse in the world. She would stay up till midnight if we let her. And it was starting to get really taxing on both of us. And we decided to start rotating. So every other night, I have off at around 7 o'clock and I get to go in my room. Last night, I read a book. I did not turn the TV on. I just read a book. I went to sleep early, which allowed me to wake up at 5:30 feeling refreshed. Okay. Making sure that if you have a spouse or a partner, somebody that is able to take on some of the load for you, that you're sharing some of those responsibilities, okay? This has been so big for us for every other night for one of us to be able to take off. We're just sitting in our house, but at least just going in our bedroom, having some free time, watching a show, all of that has been really, really good, okay? And then how I mentioned nothing on the weekends. That's been huge. So last year we had swim on Fridays, gymnastics on Saturdays. Fortunately, they learned how to swim. So we're done with that. And we're just not going back to gymnastics yet. So to have the whole weekend free with nothing and having that wide open is going to be amazing. And if I'm ever feeling overwhelmed or like I've got too much work to do, to wake up early on a Saturday when everybody else is sleeping and get a few hours in, I could do if I had to. I'm a big believer in taking breaks, and I do not like to work on the weekends. But if I had to, if we went back into a shutdown, things got crazy again, that's kind of my backup plan. Okay. Now, as far as non-negotiables, for me, working out 3 times per week. I work out Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. Like it's just in my schedule. Another non-negotiable is I never hit the snooze button. I commit to a time I'm waking up, and that's the time I'm waking up. So what are your personal non-negotiables? Okay. And this might be a lot of different things. I know that Like, for instance, drinking alcohol majorly went up when everybody started working from home and just hanging out. And it was like every night was a Friday, right? Maybe you want to have a protocol around like, what will drinking look like? What will eating bad look like? What will eating out look like, right? Because those things are affecting your health. They are affecting your finances, right? So you want to take that into consideration. Okay, let's move into budget with your personal like finances. Okay. So every year we are reevaluating our budget, okay? And it's usually around this time of year. For us, I know it's weird because it's September, not January, but for us it just feels like we are on a school year schedule, right? The kids' tuition is different every September. They go to different activities, which maybe adds on certain things. So for us, it really does feel like a September kind of like checkup, right? So we reevaluate our budget right around this time. Now, we use an app called everydollar.com. This is a Dave Ramsey app. I believe there is a free version. I do pay, though, for the upgraded version. It's a small annual fee where there's a few more advanced features. I'm not an affiliate. I just use this product and we like it. So what's cool about this is Kent and I set up budgets together. And then every month, we're going through our Every Dollar software and we get to look at where we like spent way more than we thought, right? Or we see, wow, we don't have money for savings this month, or wow, we have an extra 1,000 or 2,000. Where do we want to put it? Okay. So that's what I like about this. And then having that monthly meeting with Kent and I to get on the same page. That is so, so important to make sure that if you have somebody that you are sharing finances with, that it's not just one person controlling the finances or another. I will tell you, I'd been guilty of that for many, many years. I was the finance girl. Kent knew nothing about our bank accounts, like none of that. And now we're on the same page of what did we spend? What did we go over on our miscellaneous account, right? We're saving for things like vacation, property taxes, all of the things that kind of sneak up on you. We have that in our system so that we have tons of different checking accounts personally to like, or should I say savings accounts to throw those into separate funds. Okay. So these are just a little couple tips that I would share with you, and definitely check out Every Dollar if you know you need some help budgeting. Okay. I used to be really, really good budgeting personally and not so great in my business. And I will tell you, profit first in my business has been, I cannot tell you enough about that, game changer. And then kind of using this Every Dollar system. And then we kind of created our own profit first for ourselves personally of like, what do we put in our savings? What are we investing? How much do we have for vacation fund, etc. Okay. Okay. Something that we are thinking about right now, we are saving up for like an annual vacation. We do like to vacation. We have vacation a lot less than we normally would have. But some things that we're thinking about doing is more of like the little day trip somewhere, something we can drive to, maybe enjoy the day and come home for the sake of saving time, or I should say saving money, saving travel time, right? Also not wanting to sleep in a public place that you don't know how good they're cleaning or things like that too. But it's also going to be less risky of us getting on an airplane and stuff like that. But we're still trying to ask ourselves, what can we do to get away? What can we do to take breaks every once in a while? I mean, we were probably vacationing at least for a weekend or something every maybe 3 to 6 months at a minimum. So it feels like we've been home for a very, very long time. Okay. We just did one of these though in Lake Geneva here in Wisconsin, just a day getaway. And it felt like a fun little vacation. So we'll definitely continue to do more of that. As far as like getting things for the kids, really being minimal this year on school shopping and things to do. And honestly, anytime I buy them something, I ask like, is this something they can do to keep busy if we're quarantined? Is this something like, I don't want to buy plastic junk and plastic toys, but I am saying like, ooh, this puzzle or this craft or this bead making thing, right? I'm spending more money on things like that. Okay. One more thing about budget. I cannot tell you how important it is if you're on a budget to shop online for grocery shopping, or just, I should say, any kind of shopping online. Doing that is saving you so much money. Okay. I know sometimes people say, but shopping online, they tack on extra fees. It's more expensive. But I will tell you, when you can see the dollar and you can remove things off your plate and remove them from your cart, you can actually stay on budget a lot better than you will going into the store. I cannot go into a grocery store and spend anything under like $200. I'm not kidding. I one time went into this store called Fresh Time. It's a little place here in Milwaukee. And they called like credit card fraud on me because Kent was like, hey, did you really spend this much money at Fresh Time right now? They think this is fraud. I'm like, nope, that's me. That is definitely me. I'm here. So I cannot tell you enough how like online shopping will keep your bills down because you don't want to be wasting either. Okay. All right. Okay. Couple quick efficiency tips that I want to share because this is where like people like this little type A stuff that I want to let you know about. So if you have kids, couple things that we're doing with the kids. First, Tanner is now 7 and she is she takes forever to get ready. Okay. I don't even want to call her like a fashionista because she's not like that fashionable, but she is like, has to have the perfect outfit for her. And it will take her 30 minutes. I am not kidding. So she has to get all of her outfits for the entire week on Sunday in piles in her bedroom. And it has been the best thing we have done. Basically, I don't have to like beg her to do this. She picks them all out one time and then she just gets dressed every day. It has been a game changer. Okay. Also, getting your activity bags every Sunday. So when you're getting all the outfits, we then go, well, what do we have this week? Okay, we have dance. Let's get the dance bag ready. So everything is ready to go on Sunday. It makes the week run smoother. And if I have less to do in the middle of the week, I don't have to be worrying about like transitioning from working to mom mode and all of those things. Okay. Now, what I want you, as I'm wrapping this up, what I want you to think about is how much time do you have? Okay. How much time do you want? Do you want that to be more than what you've been given? If you only have 20 hours or 8 hours or figure it out, whatever it is, do you want more? And then if you do, you need to figure out a way to make that happen. You know, when people use the excuse of like, I have kids or I have this or I'm like, guys, if I had those things, I can guarantee you I would be resourceful enough to figure it out. Okay. There are so many options out there, but you have to find it. You have to want to find it. So how much time do you have? Are you happy with that amount or do you want more? What do you need to do in order to get more time, to buy more time? That might be having to, do XYZ. It might be having to delete a few of those things off your plate, delegate a few of those things off your plate. It's up to you. But Parkinson's law, it's like what you give it, it will take it, or it'll take that amount. If you give it an hour, it'll take you an hour, right? If you give it 15 minutes, you will figure out how to get it done in 15 minutes, okay? In 2018, I worked from 9 to 4:30 every day. In 2019, I had a different schedule where I could only work 9 to 3. So I lost an hour and a half a day. That's 7.5 hours a week, you guys. That's like a full work day that I lost. Here's what I learned. I did basically everything I needed to do in 2019. And I made more money. Okay. I worked less, made more money. All right. As we are about to finish 2020, I've had even less time with COVID, yet we are having our most successful year here at Foot Traffic. Okay. So I really want you to understand that don't let these excuses be the things that are stopping you from getting what you want. Okay. I want you to assess what it is you've got going on. I want you to reprioritize and set the new schedule. I've already done that for September. I'll have to redo it again if something happens with the kids' schooling, right? Assess, reprioritize, set the new schedule, and just go with it, right? You'll have to figure it out. And the more you have thoughts like that of, we'll figure it out, the easier it's going to be. The more you have thoughts of, this won't work, I need more time, I can't work with the kids at home, that's the kind of self-sabotage that's going to continue to happen, okay? Okay, I have one more thing I want to share. I know this is getting long, but I think some of you will like this. So I typically share at the end of this a very quick, like, what is my morning routine and evening routine? So if you're cool with that, or am I cool to keep going? All right, so first, morning routine. I should say this, or no, you know what? Before I even give you that, I've got even more I'm going to share. My typical schedule, like I said, when I'm working Monday through Friday from 9 to 3 or whatever time I've got, that's when I'm going to go, well, what are the things I want to get done? That podcast I said, that team meeting, etc. Where is it going on my calendar, right? Where am I squeezing those things in? When you start to actually put it on your calendar, like even today I was on this morning TV segment and I said, like, Put grocery shopping on your calendar. If you go to the grocery store every week and you're there for about an hour, why is it not on your calendar? Why are you always squeezing it in and then never knowing when you're going to go because you ran out of time? Put it on your calendar, right? Then start to look at, wow, I don't have a lot of white space, right? Figure out where you need to start removing, because we want to get all of it done. And then it just doesn't feel right when we're actually in the middle of doing everything. All right. One tip I always share with people is proactive in the morning. Get things done in the morning. Be more reactive in the afternoon. Okay. All right. I looked at my calendar and I really had to say, like, let's get rid of this launch. Let's get rid of that thing. I don't know that we have time to do this. Really, this is the year of like stripping, pulling things off your plate and going all in harder, right? Going all in with the things that you think, okay, this could be really good for us, right? So we're doing a lot less on there. How did I miss putting groceries on my calendar? Yeah. So Sarah, I don't have it scheduled in my calendar, but I use the Google Reminder tab. And like every 4 days, it's like order groceries today, right? Because I'm just ordering them online. So it's a quick 10-minute thing versus if you're going to the store, it might take you an hour, right? So little things like that are going to help speed this up so much faster. Okay, let me get to my morning routine really fast. So the goal right now, 5:30 wake up, maybe 5 very soon. We'll see. But basically what I'm doing is I'm coming in my office immediately. I've got like headphones for my phone so I can go on YouTube and I listen to a meditation. So I'm doing a meditation. I am doing some journaling, some like very easy stretching. I'm reading a book, right? So I kind of keep a book sitting on my couch and I just keep reading little by little every single morning. Then, like I told you, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, I'm doing a workout. 30-minute workout. That's it. Okay. With that said, I'm back up here like 7:30, showering, getting ready, getting the kids ready. Okay. So that's what my morning looks like. I do not start actually working until about 9 a.m. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, like, what do I want my mornings to look like? What time do I want to start? Maybe Stacey, that won't work for me. I've got to tweak it this way. Great. Assess, reprioritize, and schedule it. Okay. All right, you guys, I hope this was helpful, but I really want you to ask yourself, if you're overwhelmed by something, right? Go look at your calendar. It is like your hub. It is your home of what is working, what isn't, and how can you truly reprioritize that, okay? If you have not grabbed your copy of the implementation code, it is still free. You just pay for the shipping and handling. Go to implementationcode.co/free book. You can grab it. The book not only comes as a physical book, but it has a free companion video course with workbooks to help you actually implement what is in here, you guys, okay? Go grab it if you haven't already, implementationcode.co/free book. And then stay tuned. My other favorite episode that people love is my Stacey's Favorite Things. And we're going to be doing another one. I've been doing it annually because I change a lot. I'm constantly, investing in myself and reading books, and things do change year after year. It's funny how fast things change, but I want to share with you, like, I'm still drinking bulletproof coffee, but I do this now instead, right? Like I want to share those behind the scenes so you can kind of learn, like, ooh, because everything I do is strategic. I do it for productivity. I do it for health, right? Brain health, gut health, all of that, because it gets me stronger, right? When I come back to work, I can go because I have the energy, right? And I want to make sure that you're thinking about that. Health has never been more important than it has been in 2020. Thank you, Anju. She said very helpful tips in the book. Appreciate that. I loved reading it. Get the book if you haven't ordered. That can be the one you set by the sofa. Oh, yes, I love it. Okay, cool. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Stay tuned inside of the Foot Traffic Community Facebook group. I talked about doing some fun special things just for them. The month of September, we just released this. September 14th, 21st, 28th, I am doing a 3-part training series all about sales. So if you want to be talking more selling, figuring out what that's going to look like for 2020, we've got some really great content just for you guys inside of the Foot Traffic Community Facebook group. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone.